So what is recursion? Recursion occurs when the definition of a concept or process depends on a previous version of itself. A good example of recursion is when you hold a mirror in front of a mirror and see the process of each reflection reflecting a previous reflection of itself infinitely. In coding, a recursive function is a function that calls itself repeatedly until a termination or exit point, which stops the process of recursion from continuing infinitely. In SQL, we use recursive CTE queries. A recursive CTE query is a query that references itself. There are three parts of a recursive CTE query: the anchor member, the recursive member, and the termination check or exit point. The standard format for a recursive CTE is starting with the with statement and the recursive CTE, the CTE name, the keyword as, open parentheses, select statement where you put in the anchor member, then union all operator, and then select statement for your recursive member where you can go plus or minus or backwards or forwards. Then the where clause, which serves as your termination check so that the recursion will stop. And then you select the columns from the CTE and in with semicolon. So here I have a very simple recursive CTE. First, we have the anchor member, which gets called first. Then we have the union all operator because we want all possible combinations. Then we have the second select statement, which first references the anchor member and then references the CTE until the termination check. And finally, we select the column X from the recursive CTE. And this is the result. The first row, we have the value 3 from the anchor member. In the second row, we see the value from the recursive member select statement, which references the anchor member and gives us 6. In the third row, we see the value obtained by the recursive member referencing the CTE, where the value of X becomes 6 and is added to 3 to give us 9. This process continues until the value of X is less than 21. So you see here at the bottom row, it's 21, so this recursion will stop. As I mentioned before, recursion can go backwards or forwards. Here you see recursion begins with an anchor member of 21, and then in the second row, the recursive member select statement 3 is subtracted from 21 and the value is 18. And this process continues as long as the value of the previous result is greater than 0, at which point recursion will stop. Recursive CTEs are great for working with date values. Here I have a recursive CTE that begins with today's date as the anchor member, and then in the recursive member select statement we add the value of 30 days using the date add function to the anchor member value. Then the recursive member select statement keeps referencing the CTE until the value of the date is less than 365 days from today's date. Lastly, if I want to use 1 day as an increment, I have to add the option clause. This will allow for all 365 days to be displayed in the results section. So it's option, open parentheses, max recursion 0, close parentheses. Okay, that does it for recursive CTEs. Thanks for watching.